Everyone, I've got to issue a formal apology to the fans of the Denver Broncos show after week 6, but I was wrong. After that performance on Sunday, maybe y'all on them. Welcome to the week 8 recap edition of the B&E podcast presented by Premium. He's Ed. I'm Brandon. Ed, what's going on? How you feeling?
Doing all right, man. Ready for this
That's
week to
good.
get started. Got that last week behind us. Sure the Commanders got it behind them too.
Yeah, y'all had it was a good start there early on for y'all, but
Uh, Typical Commanders,
yeah,
typical Washington. So yeah, that's me.
yeah,
We'll get
understood.
into it. Yeah. Let's get this
Yeah, real
opening
quick,
drive.
wishing a
Oh, sorry.
speedy recovery. No, you're good. I'm wishing a speedy recovery. Several quarterbacks went down on Sunday. Pickett, Cousins, of course, he's out for the year. Tyrod Taylor seems like luck is never on his side. Matt Stafford, a lot of guys are banged up, and everybody else as well. Speedy recovery. Just a tough break for those guys.
Yeah, seriously. For sure. All right, let's get this opening drive going. The Titans will start rookie quarterback Will Levis when the team travels to Pittsburgh for Thursday Night Football. Daniel Jones has been cleared for contact after suffering a neck injury and missing the last 3 games. Falcons DT or defensive tackle Grady Jarrett will miss the remainder of the season after tearing his ACL Sunday. Patriots wide receiver Kendrick Bourne also tore his ACL. Kirk Cousins tore his Achilles. Green Bay has awarded linebacker Rashawn Gary a 4-year, $107 million contract extension. The Giants have shipped D lineman Leonard Williams to the Seahawks for a pair of draft picks, and the Bills have added veteran running back Leonard Fournette. All right, speaking of the Chiefs and Broncos, let's get into this AFC West matchup that we had Sunday. Broncos beat the Chiefs 24-9. Surprisingly, this was Patrick Mahomes' first AFC road loss. I find that incredible to believe. And it's the
Wow.
first time he's lost to the Broncos in his career. He's 12-1 against the
Yeah.
Broncos. I'm sure there's some Broncos players who got drafted years ago who never beat Mahomes, and now they could get that off their back. But yeah, going to the game, man. I don't know if you want to. There were reports that Mahomes is dealing with some type of
Mhm.
stomach bug that he got from his family, and it looked like he had a hand injury going into the or as the game progressed. But got to give it to the Broncos, man. They're on a 2-game winning streak. I honestly think they
Yeah.
have the potential to start going on a run here and get some wins and become relevant in the playoff picture down the line. So I'm excited to see how the Broncos look going forward. But back to this game, they were able to force turnovers. Um, Russell Wilson didn't have the greatest game yards wise, but he threw 3 touchdowns. He connected with Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, I believe, Javante Williams, the running back. So he had a pretty good game overall, just overall play wise. He didn't cause too many mistakes. He was getting hit. That's still an issue. He's still getting sacked, but he was able to, hold on to the ball for the most part. They were able to contain and run for the most part. Patrick Mahomes, I kind of want to say this is just an off game for him, but I do think at the same time they were kind of like, oh, is this the Broncos? We beat them
Yeah. Looking
since
ahead to next week.
Mahomes been here, so they I have a feeling that they kind of underestimate the Broncos. And I was going
Hmm.
into this week, I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos beat the Chiefs or at least made it a closer game. And
Yep.
by golly, they definitely got it done. What did you think of this game, man?
Yeah, this could have been one of the biggest upsets in a very long time for sure. Two very important points. You mentioned one of them, the Broncos entered the game, never had beaten the Chiefs under Mahomes. And their last win against Kansas City was with Peyton Manning, a quarterback. Of course, that was a while back now as time passes on. Shout out, though, to the Vance Joseph and that Denver defense. They face a lot of scrutiny this season, especially after that 70-point performance they gave up against Miami and many other lousy performances all year. But they showed the hell up on Sunday. KC, 5 turnovers. Patrick Mahomes was responsible for 3 of them. Um, let's get to those KC miscues, though. This is a team that's very good at not making mistakes. Remind me of the old New England team. I've said that several times under Brady, where they just focus on doing their job and not making mistakes that cost themselves. You had the MVS fumble, Marquez um, Valdez Scantling. fumble in the second quarter, the Mahomes interception to Jaquan McMillan. You had the Mahomes fumble just before half in a point where they like to get a touchdown. They don't like field goals before half. They like to get that touchdown, get the ball back straight after half, and double dip. They had the muff punt return in the fourth quarter. You had Sky Moore dropped a wide open touchdown in the fourth quarter, and then the nail in the coffin was the Mahomes interception in the game to Justin Simmons. And I think Justin Simmons plays Patrick Mahomes quite well in his career. So that's just another side point. The last time the Chiefs have not scored a touchdown in the game, have to go all the way back to Week 7 of 2021. So yeah, a lot of things happened in this game for sure. Kansas City, though, like you mentioned, it seemed like they overlooked the Broncos, and of course, we all know the big matchup. That's been talked about for seem like past couple weeks that I've been seeing is that KC Miami game coming up next week. It's going to be in Germany, early start for everybody. That should be a very interesting game to see how Kansas City rebounds. But I'll be watching the Broncos to see if they start to get on a run here. Like you necessarily agree with that. I think it was a good win for them, but I think it was against a divisional opponent that you do know very well, despite the outcomes over the past several years. I just think it kind of fell in their laps. This one here, in my opinion.
Broncos country, let's ride.
Right? I knew you were waiting for that one. All right, everyone. This episode is brought to you by Premium, a CBD and wellness company. Check out their full line of CBD infused products, which make great stocking stuffers for the upcoming holiday season. They're perfect for athletes, weekend warriors, soccer moms, and even armchair quarterbacks. They have CBD infused honey, which is a personal favorite of mine, as well as tinctures and mint and regular flavor. Most importantly, they are veteran and women owned. So come to Sweet and Premium. Use code BNE for 15% off premium.com. That's PREHEMIUM.com. Again, PREHEMIUM.com. And now back to our show. Winless no more, everyone. The Panthers, they toughed out a win in front of their home crowd against the Houston Texans on Sunday. Ed, you've been watching these rookie quarterbacks closely since preseason. What did you see in this contest?
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to see this game or pretty much any of the early games. I was traveling most of Sunday, so I didn't see the game. But I was surprised that the Panthers won. I thought the Texans would go in there and do their thing, but looks like the Panthers defense kind of showed up and showed out. They were able to contain Dameon Pierce, who I got in my fantasy league, and he's just has he scored a touchdown this year? Because my God, man, he's just been killing me. My goodness, he's got one touchdown so far through 7 games. So, yeah, it's been a long season for me with Dameon Pierce in fantasy football. CJ Stroud, he didn't have his best game. He only threw for 140 yards. He was also sacked 2 times. And overall, it looked like it was pretty much a defensive game. I mean, none of the teams scored in the first quarter. Texans scored a touchdown in the second quarter, and then it looks like they got 2 field goals, I believe, in the third quarter.
Yep.
And the Panthers, they did most of their damage in the second half. And Eddie Pinheiro was able to kick the game-winning field goal. So salute to the Panthers on them getting their first win. It looks like, Adam Thielen came over to the Panthers. I don't want to say he's having like a resurgent season, but he's definitely picked up where he left off with Kirk Cousins. Has been having some good games. He didn't have like his greatest game yesterday, but he's been really consistent for the young rookie quarterback. I think he's going to be as consistent going forward with the team as well. So yeah, salute to the Panthers. I don't want to say this is an upset, but I definitely didn't think they would win this game. So yeah, salute to the Panthers for finally getting that first win, getting a monkey off their back. What did you think of this game, man?
Yeah, defensive slugfest. Bryce Young, he had a big touchdown to Tommy Tremble just before halftime. They missed the extra point, which let them down by 1 heading into half. Then we saw CJ Stroud use his legs in the second half. They decided to go for 2, and they couldn't convert. Kind of some miscues there on special teams on both sides of the ball, or both teams. D'Amico, though, he trusted his defense in the second half. He punted the ball away with 3 minutes left in the game. But Carolina and Bryce Young, they completed his first career game-winning drive when they, like you mentioned, they got that field goal there as time expired. Shout out though to Bryce for keeping his composure though in the game. He was taken down 6 times in this one against the Houston defense, a new stingy defense there under D'Amico Ryans, and they didn't really have much of a run game either. You mentioned Adam Thielen. It seemed like they was getting the receivers involved more than the run game could get going. But again, Houston is trending upward despite the loss. I did pick them going into this game. I did kind of think that Carolina could sneak this one out, and they did. So shout out to Frank Reich and company, former commander. D'Angelo Hall is the defensive back coach there. They got a lot of good guys there on that coaching staff. So shout out to that team. Much deserved there for the Carolina Panthers get their first win of the season.
Yeah. All right. We had a battle of New York. Jets at the Giants. Brandon, what did you think of this game?
-9. Okay. -9, everyone. That's how many passing yards the Giants finished with. Be for real. Like this is ridiculous, y'all. 4th down and 10 for the Jets. It was around 1:30 left in the game. Zach Wilson steps back to throw. Kayvon Thibodeau comes crashing off that right side. He gets the big sack there, turnover on downs. Jets fans start to leave the stadium. I'm thinking, okay, the Giants got this one in the bag. They're up by 3. But no, in typical New York fashion, they find a way to blow it. New York Giant fashion, let's get that straight. Giants moved the ball downfield in the field goal territory. I saw a stat line. They had a 99% chance of winning the game before they even, went for that field goal attempt. Graham Gano misses it. Jets respond, go straight down the field. Thanks to big plays to Zach Wilson and Alan Lazard. Greg Zuerlein sends it into overtime on his leg, and then he later wins it as well for the Jets there in extra play. But the Giants clearly let this game slip away. There's no other way around it. I know Tyrod Taylor got injured. Hope he's okay. No, he got admitted to the hospital, a rib injury. I do believe the outcome would have been different if he was out there, but, kind of shoulda, coulda, woulda, or, if whatever, what I'm saying. You can't obviously control that type of stuff. But Zach Wilson, though, put his team in harm's way with 2 turnovers when it mattered the most. But at the end of the day, he found a way to lead the Jets to victory. So kudos to him. What about you?
Yeah, I agree with you all the way. Zach Wilson, I don't want to say they won in spite of Zach Wilson because he did make some plays at the end of regulation to get them in the field goal range. But I want to give a shout out to Breece Hall. He had a nice game. Didn't do too much on the running department, but he was able to break away a nice touchdown run, about 50 yards. So I think he's a star in the making for the Jets. Hopefully he can stay healthy. I know he had that injury that forced him out of last season. So hopefully he can stay healthy and continue to be the running back of the future for the Jets, because it looks like Dalvin Cook is just, he might get like a 3 or 4 carries and then it's just the Breece Hall show. But yeah, Garrett Wilson, he had himself a good game. Also, the Jets, they might have won the battle and lost the war in a sense that they lost some more linemen. I think they're now down to the 3rd center with Connor McGovern, their center going out. They also lost another lineman. His name's escaped me at the moment. But yeah, they might have some issues going forward, pass protection and run blocking just in the future, just with all their injuries at the O-line. So I'm going to be paying close attention to that, see how that goes. But yeah, back to the game. Kayvon Thibodeau, he had himself a monster game. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. Tommy DeVito, no relation to Danny DeVito, everyone. He came to the game after Tyrod Taylor injury, was able to scramble for a touchdown, but it just wasn't enough in it. And Saquon Barkley, I don't know if his age or something, but he had a breakaway run, and usually he takes it to the house, but the Jets defense caught up to him. He still had a good game. He rushed for 128 yards on 36 carries. So, but it just wasn't enough. I believe Darren Waller got hurt again. I want to say it was a hamstring injury, so he didn't complete the game. So there was a bunch of players on both sides of the ball who, had to leave this game and could potentially have major impacts on both of these teams going forward. And we'll keep an eye out on that and keep you updated on that. But yeah, good win for the Jets. They're now 4-3, keeping themselves alive. I was watching or listening to Get Up on my way to work today, and Mike Greenberg seems to be convinced that Aaron Rodgers will be back in December, which will be miraculous if he's coming back off of an
Yeah.
Achilles injury. So we'll see. But if they keep winning games or keep them close, you might want to just stick with Zach Wilson. I mean, I don't know. It'd be kind of interesting to see if they're able to get Aaron Rodgers back around playoff time and he could just step in there and do his thing. I don't know. He probably have some rust to deal with. So we'll see if they can keep winning games or stay close at least. And I recommend them to sticking with Zach Wilson because, even if Aaron Rodgers does come back this year and he plays next year, what's going to happen after that? I mean, going to have to have a long-term plan, and I'm guessing it's Zach Wilson for now. So we'll definitely see how that goes. But yeah, good win for the Jets. And Tyrod Taylor, man, just wrap him in some bubble wrap, man, because it's always something. It's either something happened to him, somebody doing something to him. So yeah, man, feel bad for him.
Most definitely. All right, Falcons and Titans, everyone from Nashville on Sunday. The final score was 28-23. Titans took that. Hello, DeAndre Hopkins, and hello, Will Levis. I picked the Titans, but at the last minute, I changed it to the Falcons when I realized Tannehill was out. Boy, did they surprise me. Homecoming of sorts for Falcons head coach Arthur Smith. He, of course, was the Titans offensive coordinator before landing in Atlanta. I mean, he could be looking to go back there not too soon. Like I've been calling on this guy, saying the clock is ticking for him and Desmond Ridder out there in Atlanta. So we'll see how much longer they both are there. But this is the wide receiver that the Titans were aiming to get when they signed Hopkins, and the playmaker and that rookie quarterback. He was the playmaker that rookie quarterback needed in his first career start. We're talking about 4 receptions for 128 yards and 3 touchdowns, and damn near scored on every time he touched the ball, honestly. Just wasn't that, though. The run game and Derrick Henry, of course, King Henry, a guy that was facing trade rumors heading into this game, surprisingly, went out there and performed for either for his team that he's gonna stay with or for somebody else. Because even though the fact that the sources are saying that I saw that they're not gonna trade him Sunday morning, you never know till the trade deadline is come and gone. As for the Falcons, I never really know what to expect from them. Yeah, Ritter got hurt. They set him supposedly. I know the coach said after the game they kind of set him as a precaution. He could have came back in. Heineke did what a backup quarterback should have done. He kept it close there for the Falcons, mainly in part to his rookie running back, Bijan Robinson in that late game defense there for the Falcons. But Van Jefferson, he had a critical drop on 4th and 1 for the Falcons. They were driving downfield just inside the 2-minute warning. That sealed the game for Tennessee. Both teams, though, they have questions and concerns after this game. Ritter fumbled before he left the game. That's a league high 12th giveaway for him. Is it time to move on for him? Again, like I said just a moment ago, it's him and the coach, Arthur Smith. The clock was ticking before this season started. And it, like you say all the time, that hot seat is getting hotter. It's burning up down there for both of those guys. And then for the Titans, can they finally move past Tannehill? I mean, from a mental standpoint, I'm tired of him. But as a fan of a rival team in the Ravens, keep him there. I'd like to see Tannehill out there getting more L's for the Titans. Levis has more touchdowns in one game than Tannehill has all season. That's saying something. I know it was against a mediocre Falcons secondary, but they was kind of in this situation last year. Tannehill got banged up. He came back. Vrabel decided to stick with Tannehill, and they lost 7 straight down the stretch to end the season. But this time, though, like I said, the Titans may not stick with you, Mr. Vrabel. Ed, did you catch any of this one?
I caught a few snippets of it. I watched the highlights online. Looks like Will Levis is a third quarterback to debut and throw for 4 touchdowns. Ironically, the other guys was Marcus Mariota and a guy named Fran Tarkenton, if anyone's ever heard of him.
Yep.
But yeah, man, good win for the Titans. I don't know if they have the quarterback of the future because defenses defensive coordinators don't have any tape on Will Levis yet, so we'll see how
Mhm.
that
True.
goes. They also played Malik Willis some of this game. I think the plan originally going in was to kind of have a 2 quarterback
Split,
situation,
yeah.
but Malik Willis fumbled, so they just gave the reins over to Will Levis. I don't know what this means for Malik Willis's future. He might not be with the team next season or in the league next season, but we'll see how that goes. Will Levis definitely showed up and showed out in this game. Like you mentioned, Derrick Henry had over 100 yards, and I know D Hop was happy. They had on the Houston Oilers throwback. He probably felt like he was playing with the Houston Texans and Deshaun
Yeah,
Watson a little bit for a second. So
good point.
hopefully they can keep this momentum going. They got the I think you said they play the Steelers next week, right?
Yeah,
So
short
they're
week, yep.
so up and down. I don't know. Like one week their Steelers are kind of like the Browns. One week they look super amazing, the next week is like, what the hell is going on? So we got to see how Kenny Pickett is feeling. I think they said it has a good chance of playing Thursday, but we'll definitely see. But yeah, I don't know what's up with the Falcons, man. Taylor Heineke came in. He played better than Ritter. The offense was able to move the ball some, but they still weren't able to win the game. I want to say that the Falcons defense kind of let them down. They were playing
Mm.
for the most part consistent throughout the season, but yesterday, I'm guessing that injury to Grady Jarrett kind of lowered morale a little bit. But yeah, I don't want to say the defense failed them, but they definitely weren't. They definitely were a reason or a contributed to the reason they lost the game. So Falcons are 4-4 now. I mean, they're still in it, but they got some choices to make going forward. Desmond Ritter did clear concussion protocol, so he'll probably be playing again. But as we saw, Taylor Heineke came in and was able to get the job done. I said before, he's a lucky charm, so he can pull off some. He can pull some shit out his ass and get a game for it, get a game or two for it. But is he the long term answer? I'm not too sure. I think he's a really good backup, but
Yeah,
I don't know if they want to, hand over the reins to him to be the franchise guy so far. I think they stick with Ritter, and if he continues to play bad or have multiple turnovers, then I guess for the rest of the season they could try to start Heineke, but I don't know. They might try to look for another quarterback in the future going forward. But yeah, good one for the Titans. Well, I'm gonna keep an eye on Will Levis just to see, hey, is this guy gonna break out and be the star of the Titans? I know you probably won't like that too much just because Titans are Ravens, and how
yeah,
that goes. But
indeed, I won't.
we'll definitely keep an eye out for that for sure.
All right, let's give some love to the players that showed up and showed out in week 8. Uh, Offensive side of the ball, I'm gonna go something that I usually say is a bad joke, but this time they were on fire. How about them Cowboys? Could go with the quarterback, and I could go with the number one receiver. I'm gonna give it to the number one receiver there in Jerry World on Sunday. CeeDee Lamb, 12 receptions for 158 yards and 2 touchdowns. I give him the edge over Dak because Dak did throw that interception, but all around good game there for the Cowboys against the Rams. How about your offensive player of the week?
Yeah, I got to give it to D Hop. You mentioned his stats earlier, but 4 catches, 3 of them for touchdowns, and he went over 120 yards receiving. So, yeah, man, D Hop showed he still got it. Tannehill, unfortunately, him and Tannehill didn't have a great connection, but this Will Levis guy came in and showed, hey, throw me the ball, I'm gonna make some plays happen. So D Hop definitely put his name back out there. I'm sure teams are kicking themselves over. We've seen him on tape and he doesn't look that good. Well, you seen him with a quarterback who's not afraid to throw the ball or is able to throw the ball, and you see he's still able to do his thing. So yeah, I gotta give it to D Hop for sure.
Definitely turning our attention to the defensive side of the field. I'm gonna bend the rules a little bit like we do all the time. Gonna go with 2 defensive units. The entire Broncos defensive unit and the Jets defensive unit. Starting with Denver, they held the Chiefs to 9 points on offense. Mahomes and company were held out of the end zone, 3 sacks, no run game for Kansas City. Kelsey was pretty much held in the check compared to his other games. And then as for the Jets, the leading receivers had 4 yards apiece for the Giants. Like you mentioned, Tommy DeVito, no relation to Danny. He finished with -1 passing yards. Offense finished with -9 passing yards in total. Some could say this should have an asterisk next to it because they gave up 203 yards on the ground, but it was still impressive there for the Jets defense as well as the Broncos defense. What about you?
I'm gonna stick with the Giants too, but give it to Kayvon Thibodeau. You would have thought he played Washington with the stats he put up. He had 9 total tackles, 3 sacks, and he also forced a fumble. So yeah, shout out to Kayvon Thibodeau. I'm sure he'll put up better stats against the Commanders like he did last year.
All right, special teams. I'm gonna go with Greg Zerline in a sloppy game where the Giants kicker missed the field goal to basically seal the game in regulation. Greg came out, knocked through both kicks, one right at the end of regulation to send it to overtime, and of course the game winner in overtime to give the Jets another win in the AFC East. What about you?
I'm gonna give it to Eddie Pinheiro. I know he missed the extra point, but he made 3 field goals and he made the game-winning field goals. It was cool and funny to see his teammates. He was on somebody's back and they were running down the field after he kicked that game-winning field goal. So yeah, I'm gonna give it to Eddie Pinheiro. It's my special teamer of the week.
Bonehead call or play of the week, the situation or player or whoever that had us scratching our heads. Wink Martindale, he used to do it all the time when he was in Baltimore, man. In the Giants defense at the end of regulation versus Zach Wilson and the Jets. The Jets drove 4 plays on 58 yards over 24 seconds. Zach Wilson hit Garrett Wilson and Alan Lazard on 2 back-to-back 29-yard pass plays to get in the field goal range with 1 second left on the clock. Wink Martindale, and I think on the Garrett Wilson play, he sent a corner or safety blitz, which he was notorious for doing in Baltimore. And it used to drive me crazy because he used to do it when we were banged up in the secondary. And the Giants, I don't believe they were banged up. They just have, I think, rookie corners on both sides. You can't do that, Wink. You know, what that's what let me scratch my head on Sunday. What about you?
I'm gonna go a little different on this. I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. My bonehead call of the week goes to the NFL for scheduling the Chargers versus the Bears on Sunday Night Football. I mean, what the hell y'all think? I know they got AI picking the schedules now, but come on now. Y'all should have known after we found out that Justin Fields is going to be out. This game was a no contest. No offense to the Bears, but come on now. I started turning on League Pass after a while. I turned back to the game. It was even worse. I turned back to the game. Bears get the ball up. Their quarterback, what's his name, Tyler Badgen or something like that, threw a pick. I was like, man, this is going to be a long game. I turn on NBA. So, yeah. NFL, you got my bonehead call of the week for that Sunday night matchup. You should have flexed it off for something better, my opinion.
Agreed.
Yeah. Let's get into these other scores from week 8, though. Of course, we had the Bills beat the Bucks in Thursday Night Football 24-18. Dolphins destroyed the Patriots again in South Beach 31-17. Jags edge out a win over the Steelers 20-10. Deontay Johnson blamed the refs for the loss for the Steelers. Cowboys returned from the bye with 43-20 win over the Rams. Vikings dominated the Packers 24-10, where it looks like they won the battle but lost the war. Now that Kirk is out, they're on a 3-game winning streak, but we'll see how they look after that. Saints toppled the Colts 38-27. Eagles complete the season sweep with the Commanders 38-31. Seahawks beat the Browns 24-20. That game went down to the wire. Bengals hand the 49ers their 3rd straight loss. This one was 31-17. And the Chargers won at SoFi over the Bears 30-13 in the blowout. Brandon, which of these games did you watch? Also forgot to mention that the Ravens beat the Cardinals 24-17, excuse me. But yeah, which of these games were you taking an eye on?
Yeah, for the second straight week on here, I'm going to mention again, love is no longer in the air. Minnesota just dominated the Packers from start to finish there at Lambeau Field, a place where they don't lose often. That's now what 4 straight losses for the Packers, and they're 1-2 at home. Another game We had the Bengals and the 49ers. I did pick the 49ers. I thought they were going to get off that slide. Cowboys fans like this one because they feel like ever since George Kittle lifted up his jersey and it said, uh, they haven't won a game since then. And he just came in there and seemed like every time they came back and stole it right back from him to the point right there at the end where they went up by 2 scores and it was game over. And then, of course, Ravens and Cardinals. My player of the game, Michael Pierce, he had a big tip pass. He had a big fourth down stop before half, forced fumble on a sack play in the third quarter. Geno Stone out there looking like Ed Reed. He had a third straight game for interception. He's leading the league in interceptions, a guy that's not known for his speed or his cover skills. Something that's changed this year, and I think he's in a contract year, so that might contribute to it. But then the McBride touchdown in the fourth quarter, the guys were pushing him in the end zone. He was like
Yeah, I
on the
saw
two
that.
or
I,
three
I thought
yard
they should
line.
have blew
It's
the
like,
whistle.
yes, it's like, what are you doing, refs? Obviously they're all different. We understand they're human and stuff, but it's like you would think by now they'd have some sort of Zoom meeting or something and say, okay, this is where we're going to call these plays dead, and this is where we're not going to call them dead. But legit, they pushed them all the way in the end zone.
Even the
Luckily
announcers
for
is like, did they blow
yeah,
the whistle? Oh no, they didn't.
exactly.
Touchdown.
Exactly. Luckily for us, we were up by enough to where it didn't hurt us and we didn't lose the game, but we did kind of let them stick around.
Yeah, y'all
Um,
did.
yeah, we definitely let them stuck around. And unfortunately, I didn't get to record on Friday. You were traveling. I recorded. I had some technical issues, but I did mention or I had going into this game how we had to be careful with Arizona because they played so many teams very well. And I saw something today that apparently they're going to bench Dobbs for the rookie fourth, third, or fifth rounder, something like that,
Mm.
if Kyler Murray can't play on Sunday. And I'm like, he hasn't really played that bad, in my opinion. He played decent against, I mean, besides the two interceptions, but he played decent against us, and he's played decent most of the year. He's kept in a lot more games than people thought. What are they 2 and they're 1-7, but still, I mean, they played a lot of good teams very well this year. So it's kind of surprising that they're putting that on the quarterback and they're going to bench him, unless they're in the back of their mind thinking about trading Kyler if he doesn't come back to rare form or something like that, because that's just interesting. Why would you put the rookie in there with the guy playing like that? But yeah, that's a whole nother topic. Which of these games caught your attention?
Of course, the Eagles beating the Commanders. It was at Washington, but it seemed like a home game for the Eagles. There were a ton of fans cheering for the Eagles. AJ Brown, another game, it broke a record, 6 straight games of a receiving yards of 125 yards plus. So we can't stop him to save our lives. I had a feeling going into the game that we would kind of do what we did the last time we played and play up to the level of competition. But in the end, we wet the bed. Fortunately, Sam Howell threw a late interception in the fourth quarter. He got sacks. It just one of those seasons. I was talking to one of my friends. He was like, "Have hope." Hey, you remember in 2012 we started 3-6. So I was like, "Yeah, I'll have some hope when we start winning." But like I said, I've been watching Red Zone instead of watching the Commanders play just for my sanity. But I didn't really get to see too much a lot of these games. Like I said, I was traveling. I did catch some of the Seahawks Browns game. Tough loss for the Browns. They were
Mhm.
turn the ball over at the 2-minute warning at the fourth quarter, and the Seahawks were able to march down the field and score a touchdown. I did catch some of that San Fran and Bengals game as well. Everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people were giving Shannon Sharp grief for saying, Brock Purdy's not elite. Well, third straight loss. I think he's had like 5 turnovers in this 3-game losing streak as well. So he's
Yep.
looking pretty pedestrian right now. I'm thinking San Fran guys are starting to panic. They
Yep.
are without Trent Williams, and I
Debo.
can't remember if Debo Williams played in that game or not. Excuse me,
Debo
Debo
was out.
Samuel. Yeah, so he didn't have all of his weapons, but if you're an elite quarterback, you win in spite of that.
Yep.
So he's definitely still growing in the game. We'll see how the San Fran looks going forward. But I want to give a not a shout out, but talk about the AFC North. Everybody in that AFC North is over 500. Of course, you got the Ravens at 6-2, but everybody else is 4-3. So this is looking like it's going to be the toughest division of football. Might go down to the wire. Might be a bloodbath. I know the Ravens, they got a divisional loss against the Steelers. So I don't know if that's going to come into effect down the line. I did see a clip of Odell slamming his helmet on the ground just because he's frustrated. A lot of people are giving him grief for that, but I feel like, if I'm not mistaken, his contract has some incentives in it. So I'm pretty sure he's got to have like a certain number of touchdowns and receptions and yards. So he probably not making the money he thought he'd be making. And of course, he wants to contribute to his team's winning. So we'll see how, if Odell and Lamar will be able to get some more better chemistry going for it. But yeah, great week of football. Not for my Commanders, but overall great week of football. Yeah. But let's get into this Monday night game that's underway right now. I think the Lions should win. These last couple of weeks, I've been picking the team that I think will lose. So I should pick the Raiders, but I'm gonna go with the Lions in this one. They got Amon-Ra St. Brown back. David Montgomery is out. So it's just gonna be Jahmyr Gibbs and crew. So that might be an impact. But I feel like Aiden Hutchinson is gonna cause some damage on that Raiders O-line and be a game wrecker. So I'm picking the Lions in this one. How about you?
Yeah, I like the Lions in this one. I've said it several times before. If you need a win, you got to play the Raiders. And guess what? They got Las Vegas in this one. Both teams coming off embarrassing losses last week. The difference is we kind of expected recently from the Raiders, but not from the Lions, the way they were beat up by my Ravens, only putting up 6 points. Both teams really banged up as well. As you mentioned, a couple guys are back, but I got to go with the home team in this one. I think it's the first Monday night football game for the Lions, and I don't know how long. I don't even know if I remember a Monday night football game definitely there at Ford Field in my recent memory, unless I'm absolutely tripping. So yeah, give me the Lions in this one.
And just a quick note, we talk about Colorado all season. They lost to UCLA.
UCLA, yeah.
They not only lost the game, but they lost, or their jewelry was stolen. Apparently, during the game, some thieves came in and stole the players' jewelry. It's kind of crazy to me. I think that's a bad look for UCLA. It was UCLA, right? Yeah, they played UCLA. That's a bad look for
it was UCLA,
security and everything. I know UCLA is kind of like around a bad area, but
sure.
yeah, that's damn. I was like, damn, hearing about that news. I don't know, man. Colorado, the way the Shedeur Sanders keeps getting hit. Hopefully he can survive the season. I know Deion in the press conference said we definitely need a new O-line, and I think that kind of rubs some people the wrong way. But he's telling the truth. I mean,
yeah, it's been an issue all year.
They can't block for Shedeur, and they can't run the ball either. So this is not just the pass protection. They can't run the ball to save their damn lives either. So they're gonna need improvements on both sides of the ball, offensive line and defensive line.
For sure. I didn't hear about that that theft situation there. I definitely heard about the loss, but not about that. So yeah, very interesting when you should have security there.
Right.
No matter what level, from college on up to NFL, you would think you have some sort of security there, but that's a very interesting story to watch as the week develops. What a good week of football, everyone. Week 8 in the books, just about. Of course, we got Monday Night Football right now. Basically at the halfway point, Titans and Steelers will play on Thursday Night Football ahead of a big game in Germany, as we mentioned earlier. Dolphins and Chiefs will be back later this week to preview it all. Until next time, love one another.